Welcome, football fans. Buckle up for another hard-hitting episode of Let's Talk XFL, the only podcast solely focused on the XFL. From a sunny Southwest Florida studio, here's your host, Michael Lathrop.
Hello, football fans. This is episode 43, Farewell CJ. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Royal Retros by 503 Sports. Royal Retros are the king of throwbacks. Royal Retros by 503 Sports provides a line of merchandise from legendary defunct leagues such as the XFL 1.0. If you have always wanted to get yourself a quality Las Vegas Outlaws He Hate Me or Los Angeles Extreme Tommy Maddox jersey, perhaps even an OG XFL's team's t-shirt, we have you covered. Simply click on the link provided in the show's description and notes and enter the code Let's Talk XFL at checkout to receive 10% off your purchase. This past week, the XFL did not make any official announcements. However, there is a development to cover. In addition, later in the show, I will be joined by wide receiver Aaron Nelson to discuss his football journey and XFL Draft Invitation. But first, we have that development to cover. So, let's get to it.
Did you hear the news? Did you hear the news?
On August 24th, now former XFL Director of College and Professional Relations, CJ Cavazos made the following post on his Twitter account. Well, I'm back to being at CJ Recruiting 1 full-time. God is good and has a better plan for me and my family. Good luck to all, and I wish you all the best. Now let's do what I do and help families live their dreams. I understand there are various thoughts on CJ's departure from the XFL. However, the league or CJ have yet to release a statement regarding the separation. Personally, I'm not reading too much into it. It is a good possibility this arrangement was designed to be short-term. After all, anyone who is familiar with CJ knows he owns CJ Recruiting, which is an agency that began in 1995. If you go to cjrecruiting.com, you will see that CJ is well established and respected in the collegiate recruiting circles. If you listen to the testimonials, you will quickly realize where his talents lie. Seeing the bulk of the XFL recruitment and evaluation process has been accomplished and has been turned over to the coaching staffs, I do not see a need for CJ to remain on the league's payroll. Also, on August 24th, I made a guest appearance on the XFL STL talk show, where I discussed several XFL topics with host Jason aka Dirty. During this segment, I shared my thoughts on unifying the alternative football community and media. If you have been following my @XFL Mike handle on Twitter, you know I am a supporter of unification and collaboration. If you would like to see my appearance, I recommend checking it out on YouTube or on their social media. I believe it is important to support one another. In the process, we will further learn how the XFL are operating in each of the 8 markets and non-XFL markets. As I have previously mentioned, I will now be joined by wide receiver Aaron Nelson to discuss his football journey and XFL Draft Invitation. Welcome, Aaron. I appreciate you taking the time to join the show to discuss your football journey and your pursuit of playing in the XFL.
Thank you for having me. I can't wait to discuss everything.
You played your collegiate ball at Division III Delaware Valley University in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Can you walk us through your collegiate recruitment and how this opportunity came about?
Yeah, so I never actually got recruited by Del Val. I kind of essentially walked on because I seen the kind of success that they had in the previous years of me going there. I saw they had a couple players get some tryouts to the league, so I figured they knew what they were doing staff-wise. I actually had a couple Division III looks. It was Lycoming College, which is actually in the same conference, and Susquehanna, which is in a different conference. But I really just walked on to Del Val, and they welcomed me with open arms. So I didn't play my first year there, but I started every year after that. So sophomore year until this past year.
How was it experience, though? A lot of people out there give D3 a bad, rep. So,
honestly,
how can you speak of the experience playing Division III and whatnot?
Honestly, it was great. It was definitely a family-oriented program. And there was a lot of great athletes that came through there. A lot of Division I bounce backs. A lot of athletes that went there that could have played at a higher level, but either didn't have the grades or like off the field issues. But every day was definitely a grind. Like the competition was there, and we definitely had the more experienced coaches, I would say, that definitely got us ready for, day in and day out of the grind.
Just to kind of give you a little bit, I understand the D3 world because I played D3 soccer. So okay. I got a good understanding of what it's all about. A lot of people, though, don't. They just kind of think, well, if you're not D1, then you weren't worth it.
So you're kind of familiar. Like our school, like, doesn't have the fancy, like, technology, like equipment, weight room, all that kind of stuff. Like even like the training staff, like we don't, it's not all peaches and cream there. So it's definitely like you're getting it out of the mud there. So that's what I kind of like appreciated it the most, and like the coaches and just the atmosphere there just really taught me about like a lot about myself and like what football really meant to me. Like before, I really chose Del Valle because of the success they had, like the winning standard that they had, because I wasn't used to that before college. So I wanted to be a part of a winning atmosphere. Like I can honestly say that coming out of there, I know what it feels like to win. I know how to win, and I know what it takes to win, So I think that's like pretty important. And like those three things are important to like taking your game to the next level here. So I'm very fortunate for that.
You are a wide receiver. Seeing your collegiate career wasn't televised for everyone to see. Can you take a moment and share your strengths and style of play?
My strengths are that obviously my speed. I think that's like what anybody could really say off of first glance of me playing. But I think I'm very versatile. Like I'm tall enough, I'm long enough to play on the outside, and I'm fast enough to play on the inside. I think that could be used very well in like a lot of different offenses. I can play special teams. I'm fast enough, I'm quick enough, agile enough to do return duties. And I would say that my routes are real crisp too. Like I can really run the whole tree as needed. Slot, outside routes, it doesn't really matter. I can really do it all, in my opinion.
That's pretty important, especially in these alternative leagues, because what we see is smaller rosters, and in a lot of cases, they look for those kind of hybrid players, guys that can kind of play more than one particular role. And in your case, it looks like or sounds like you are capable of playing inside, outside, special teams. So that definitely would be a strength for you in the alternative world.
And I would also say, like, honestly, like my biggest strength, like it has nothing to do with like receiver abilities, is like my work ethic though. Like part of the reason why I didn't get recruited like that out of high school was because of my weight and my size. Really was a big deterrent for me. Like everybody knew I could play football, but it was just an overlying question of me like being physically able to play. So like I graduated at 120 pounds. I've talked to a lot of different coaches at the higher level, but nobody really wanted to take a chance on me or like treated me as like a project. So yeah, I graduated 120 pounds. Like even Del Valle was kind of like hesitant at first, but like, shout out to Coach Duke Greco, my head coach for all 4 years. But he just saw something that, I guess not everybody saw. Like, so, I went in at 125 pounds and I graduated like 180. Like I put in the time. I put in all that time in the weight room, on the field. And it's crazy because like I gained all that weight and all that muscle and I got faster, like I got quicker on my routes and all that. So, it's really like a testament to me. Like if I want it, I'm gonna go out and get it. So
you're 6 foot, if I remember your profile.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So you were a $120, 6 foot tall coming out of high school, or did you grow?
Yeah, I was probably like maybe like I was probably like 2 inches shorter, maybe.
Because I was gonna say I was 5'10", 3/4, 140 pounds as a soccer player. And that was a big knock against me, is I was just too
Yeah.
skinny. And I'm thinking, if you're a $120, $125 leaving high school, and even if you're at 5'10", that's still on the very thin side. Yeah, I can see that concern. What a lot of people don't realize, though, is that these D1 programs have all these facilities. Even they have special cafeterias for their football programs. And D3 programs don't have it. So for you to gain the weight like I did, I gained up to 183 as a soccer player, but you had to gain it from 120, 125 as a football player. That's, very different when we don't have those type of facilities at D3 programs.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more dedication that goes in actually at the D3 level than people realize.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you don't have the nutritionists that the Division I programs have, like the luxury of that. Just like even like the money and stuff, like the meals and stuff, like, and like the information behind it all. Like, I really didn't have a lot of that. So,
Well, I was sharing on another show, another interview I did, that, D1s have a totally different budget. And I bet you when they're out on the road, they're eating steaks. Well, D3, it's more McDonald's budget. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of funny.
A lot of pizza and subs. Yeah, that's what it is. And
real.
Gatorade and water. Yeah, that's it.
It's not glamorous, but you're playing the game that you love and you are striving towards your goal. So that's what matters.
Yeah, you're playing the game. And I'm like I said it before, like, I'm just fortunate to have the coaches that I had, like, they really take this game seriously, especially at a Division III level. Cause there's a lot of teams out there that, don't take the game as serious. It's just like for fun, but not at Del Val. Like, they take it as serious as it can get. So winning means everything to that program. And I'm just glad I was able to just play there and like learn from it. It's going to help me out so much in the upcoming road.
From your time at Delaware Valley University, did you earn any honors, receive any invitations to any Senior Bowls?
Yeah, so I played in the Podium Bowl in Miami, Florida, and I played in Dream Bowl in Virginia.
What were those experiences like?
I really liked I like both the bowls. What was different at the Podium Bowl in Miami, they had like a combine. It was almost like a pro day type of sequence that they had before. It was because it was like a 3-day, 4-day event. So like the first day, it was like they did like the combine drills and stuff like that, like routes and stuff like that. And after that, they did the practices and then the final game. But I would say like just finally being in front of some NFL and like professional scouts, doing the drills and the combine drills was definitely like an eye-opening experience.
Were you aware of what particular scouts were there, like National Football League, USFL, XFL?
Yeah, so it was NFL scouts. I know after I ran my 40, I was talking to the Broncos scout. I want to say there was some scouts from Europe, CFL scouts. I kind of forget the rest of them, but I just know that there was a couple NFL teams there and like CFL teams and like other leagues from outside the U.S.
And what was their feedback? I mean, you mentioned you talked to the Broncos.
Yeah,
scout.
like he liked how I ran. I ran well, which isn't like kind of a surprise to me because like I'm not trying to sound like arrogant or anything like that, but that's like kind of my game right there is my speed. But he liked how I ran, and I haven't heard too much from it. But yeah, he just liked how I ran in my 40. He thought I ran well.
I mean, it's cool that you even had that interaction. Some people probably don't.
It was definitely like I was more excited than surprised. Just finally, like I'm finally getting like noticed, talked about a little bit. Like I'm finally making an impression on somebody. So that's motivating in itself.
There seems to be a stigma for players who haven't played in Division I Power 5 schools. How do you go about ridding yourself of that stigma and proving you're just as good of a player, if not better, than those players?
Yeah, I feel like that's the biggest argument they have against like small school players. So that's why I'm hoping I get into the XFL because that's going to eliminate everything, right? I'm starting to play against like these bigger schools, and even at the Podium Bowl and all these other bowls, and the other bowl I went to, there's high-end Division 2 teams, Division 1 teams, or players from those teams. And it's like my game never fell off. So I know I can play at the next level. It's just trying to get these other people from these professional leagues to think that I can play. So I think that the XFL is going to be my first opportunity to show these people that I can play football.
So that kind of segues right in. I was going to say, I'm not aware of any professional playing experience, so I take it you haven't played arena or overseas football.
No, I haven't. This whole process has been kind of like roller coastery, I would say, because like I thought it was going to be way more smoother than this. I thought that I was going to get a pro day. I thought that after I got my pro day, I was going to get a little bit of more buzz than I already had. So then I wouldn't have to do arena. And I was going to get eventually like a rookie mini camp tryout or something. But it never really happened like that. And I could have did arena, but it was like two things. Like I had a job. I have a job that pays well, like more than arena. And I just didn't want to risk an injury or anything like that because I knew like leagues like the XFL were coming up. So I'm trying to just like playing the waiting game right now. So,
well, it's all a gamble, right? I mean, in some
yeah,
way, you're betting
is.
on yourself for the XFL or a league like that level versus an arena team. So that makes sense. I mean, you're going all in on the XFL.
Yeah, I am going all in. I'm throwing all my chips in. And I really didn't want to chance anything with the Arena League or the Europe League. I know it's good experience for sure, but I don't think I was ready to take that chance yet. Like I know I can play in that league. Like there was a couple teams that wanted me, but I wasn't ready to take that risk yet. I was just trying to play my cards more safe and just, put my money on the XFL or like even like the USFL. Like I'm not naive. Like if like say like I don't get into XFL or like the USFL, like I'm probably gonna play in arena. I might give it more of a look than what I already did, or even like overseas, because I'm just not ready to give it up yet. So I told myself I was gonna give it all I have, and pretty much give it all I have, and not look back. And if I don't make it, I don't make it. But at least I can say that I gave it all I had. So let's just see where it takes me.
Right.
And I know like my chances of getting the XFL, it's like, because if you take my resume for what it is, it's probably like one like the lower end of the totem pole. I don't have the spring league experience. I don't have the previous XFL league experience. Like I don't have any professional experience besides Division 3.
I get it. So your chips are all in on the XFL. Did you participate at any of the XFL showcases?
No, see, that's the real funny thing. So I did the ANC Combine in May. It was May 28th in Georgia, which was the last one. I made the hot list. After I made the hot list, like a week later, I was like emailed by director of personnel, player personnel person.
Doug Whaley?
Nah, not Doug Whaley.
Oh, gotcha.
His name was Mark Lillibridge. He emailed me. He wanted to see a couple games from my senior year, and he basically told me after he sees it, he'll just evaluate it, and if he likes it, he'll recommend me for a draft evaluation invite, and if he doesn't, I won't get one. So after I gave him the film, or he watched the film, he liked it. He said he was going to recommend me for an invite, and then like a week later, maybe like a week and a half later, I was given a draft invite from the XFL.
So you're fortunate to actually have had that footage, because there's a lot of D3 guys, lower end guys, that struggle to have actually game footage to turn over to scouts or executives. So you're fortunate to actually have had that.
Yeah.
Because without it, you'd be in a totally different situation right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So it's awesome that you received that. I noticed you had posted it back on, July 16th. So that you got it early. You're one of the earlier guys, despite what was still going on with all the showcases and whatnot. So are you represented by anybody?
Evolution Sports Agency.
Okay.
Yeah, they're representing me. My agent's name is Laricus Scott.
How has he and the agency helped you in the pursuit of achieving this goal? Has things changed drastically now that you're represented by them compared to how things were before you had representation?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, he's just putting me on the map. He's, giving these teams just promoting me more, just sending my film out to the teams and just trying to play the game. Just trying to expose my level of play and the stuff I can do. And we're just waiting. It's pretty much the waiting game right now. Like, like you see like there's and stuff like that going around different teams. There's just opportunities that we're just waiting for to have. So I'm really just sitting back waiting. And, sometimes because he was telling me that, like, sometimes for these videos and stuff like that, because I'm supposed to send him videos and stuff of me running routes, just doing different drills and stuff like that. Sometimes they like videos, sometimes they don't. So it's like hit or miss. Sometimes they didn't like what you did the other day, but you go out there the next day, you did some different stuff and they like it and you get a shot. So I'm really just putting my head down right now, just working out, training, and just putting myself in the best possible position to when the opportunity does come.
So speaking of training, had they altered your whole training regimen?
No. I'm not really getting trained by them. I'm pretty much doing my own training.
Gotcha.
It hasn't failed me yet. So.
Oh, right. If it's not broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah. I have a really good friend that trains me too. Like when I was doing the ANC combine, I have a speed specialist trainer, I guess you would say. So I was working with him a lot before the ANC event on the 28th. So that's who I kind of like work with, like my speed and just like my overall like health and stuff. So that's kind of who I go to. You
mentioned you have a really good job outside of, football. So if you don't mind, what are you doing outside of football? Whether it's,
I wouldn't say it's the best job, but like it pays the bills and it does what I need it to do. I'm a mental health technician at this behavioral health center.
So that's cool.
That's kind of what I do when I'm not playing football.
So any other hobbies or anything keep you busy, or is it pretty much work and then the grind, just trying to make your dream happen?
It's honestly, it's just been working the grind. I don't have really time for anything else.
Gotcha.
So, when I'm not at work, I'm on the field. And when I'm not on the field training, I'm at work. So, hopefully it changes, in the next couple of months. But that's what it's been for me.
So you may not be aware of this, but I have had an XFL executive on the show before. So I typically provide each of my guests an opportunity or a last plea, if you will. If an XFL coach or coaches, key staff members were to tune into this episode, what is there about you that is vastly unknown that you'd like them to know about you? And why should they select you and ultimately give you a roster spot over another player?
I think
I know I'm putting you on the spot, man. This is not a spot, but
you're good. I'm just gonna try and speak from the heart right here. So I think an XFL executive, what they should know about me is that they're gonna get a guy that loves the game of football, that's willing to do whatever it takes to help the team win. He's gonna step outside of his comfort zone and do things that he might not think he's able to do, but he's going to do it to the best of his ability. And they're going to get a grinder, a guy that loves to win football games and do whatever it takes to, to do whatever it takes to win games and please the crowd. So, and he's also going to get an electrifying player too. So a player that's like real exciting to see. I make plays whatever I'm playing. So, I know it's going to make the fans happy. It's going to make everybody that's watching happy. And to answer your next question, I feel like they should select me over another player because I'm dependable, I'm accountable, and I feel like I'm just a game changer for whatever team I would go to. I make plays, like I said before, and I feel like I would contribute to any team I would go to. because there's a lot of good guys, I'm sure, in this league. But what separates me again is my work ethic and my IQ of the sport. You know, I mean, I graduated with a 3.8 GPA. I'm not stupid. I know the game. Yeah, I just feel like that would help me contribute to any team.
Aaron, it has been a pleasure, and I appreciate you taking the time to come on this show and talk with me about your journey and your XFL Draft Invitation. I hope that you do get selected into the XFL, and more importantly, I hope you make a team's roster and play in the league in 2023. If so, I'd love to have you come back on again sometime, and perhaps we can discuss how the team's progressing and just you.
For sure. I can't wait to be back.
I always offer my guests an opportunity to kind of plug their social media. So if some of our listeners wanted to follow you in your journey, where could they do so?
So my Twitter handle is Aaron_N7, and my Instagram is Aaron with 3 N's _10_.
Perfect. Thank you, Aaron.
No problem. Have a good rest of your day.
All right. You as well. I find Aaron's journey and situation interesting. Seeing his collegiate experience and lack of professional career has not hindered him from receiving a draft invitation, despite not participating at a showcase, is proof that the XFL are indeed leaving no stone left unturned. For the players who tune into this show and follow me on social media, this is why you need to continue grinding. Even if you are not participating at XFL events, do not give up. Someone is always watching, and you never know who they network with. Unfortunately, we do not have any Let's Talk XFL fan line messages this week. If you have a comment, question, or hot take and would like it to be heard on the show, reach out to Let's Talk XFL fan line by calling 863-TALK-XFL or 863-825-5935. Doing so, your message could be included in an upcoming episode. All good things must come to an end. This concludes another episode of Let's Talk XFL. As always, I am interested in receiving your feedback. So do not be a stranger. Reach out to let me know your thoughts, and if you do so, your comments might just make it on the show. But before you go, do not forget to subscribe and rate the show on your platform of choice. One last thing. If you're interested in checking out our friends over at Royal Retros by 503 Sports, do not forget to click on the link in the show's description and notes, as well as that sweet code, Let's Talk XFL, for 10% off your purchase. Thank you for tuning in. Till next time, cheers.
Thank you for tuning in to today's show. Don't forget to subscribe and rate Let's Talk XFL on your platform of choice. Follow Let's Talk XFL on Facebook and Twitter at Let's Talk XFL. Do you have a question or topic you would like to have addressed on the show? Message the show via social media or send an email to letstalkxfl@gmail.com.